Hi, I'm Lyle. I'm a furniture artist, and today I am going to be making over a completely free table, which seem to be all over Facebook Marketplace. Typical pine table in sort of the Charleston House Bloomsbury Group style. Today's is a table. It's one of those expanding tables, so it's much bigger than it is, and all the gubbins are in the back and everything. You pull it out. Why one of these? Because let's face it, these are on Facebook Marketplace all the time for free. Well, they are in Scotland. Nobody wants them. So I want to try and take something that nobody wants. And I got this for free because nobody wanted it. I needed the chairs from the set for a customer, for a custom order. So I decided that what was going to do with the table. So I thought, right, I'll do something with it. So what are my intentions for today on this piece? I am going to do this table in a sort of Charleston style. If you don't know anything about Charleston style, research it. I've got a really nice book here with some of the images of the house. It's a house, hang on, I'll just do this. It's a house in the UK where Quentin Bell and Virginia Nicholson, they lived, and they were artists, very bohemian, and they painted their whole house, literally, with patterns and designs. So I'm going to be doing lots of circles, some flourishes, some natural hand painting like this. So I'm going to take the style, the Charleston style, and I'm going to try and do this table. I'm using the words try. I do have another video where I've used the Charleston style. I'll get Martin to link it up there. It's a little table with some inlays, and obviously my inspiration comes as well from Annie Sloan. Annie Sloan loves the Charleston sort of style, and she quite often goes to Bloomsbury House too. It's a really really patterned and really rich and colourful sort of style. So I'm going to do that today. First thing I'm going to do is, you're not going to really see much in the beginning, because all I'm literally going to do is I'm going to paint the base, and I'm going to then, once the base is all done, I'm not even going to put the pattern. There will be pattern on the base, but I'm not going to put any pattern on the base. I'm then going to get Martin to put it all together at its extended length, and it'll be one basic colour. So next time you come, this whole thing will be one basic colour. It'll be a light colour because I want to put a lot of pattern over the top of it. So, and it'll be a really long video if I do every little bit. So I'm just going to do the basics, okay? Okay. So I know that yesterday I said I'm just going to go and paint it a light colour so I can put the design work on top. But you know what? I want to do something that pleases me, and I haven't painted with Capri Pink for quite a while, so I'm going to put that in it. It's not really a sort of Charleston, Bloomsbury sort of kind of colour at all, but that's fine. Now, a minute ago we were filming this and Matt realised that we weren't filming it. So what I was basically doing is saying, you want this very loose and very painterly, and I'm just roughly chalking out some shapes. You want to have your brush strokes, you want to have it loose, you want to have it quite flowy. So all I did was I put two arcs here, and I've done this fluted edge down the edge. I've drawn some circles, and I've done a sort of leaf shape, and you can see it's the same all the way around. What I'm going to do next is with this colour here, which is, there was about probably this much in this small can of Annie Sloan of Coolabah Green, and I added a little bit of Provence to it. So it's still a green, it's just a sort of kind of, you know, just more of it. It's probably a little bit darker than Coolabah Green now. So what I'm going to do is, and I've got a nice big brush because I want this to be very loose. I want my strokes to be very loose, like painterly, like this. You know, you want texture in it. This is the look you're going for. You're not painting it in solid. And I think this is going to be one that you can really have fun with. And I think it's a really good look to start with if you're a beginner. I think this if you're just kind of getting into hand painting, I think this sort of loose style is quite nice. You want your strokes, you want all your movement in it. It's kind of like you want to have some of the background on it showing through as well. Now this is just the sort of beginning, what I'm doing with the beginning shapes, because I want to put colours and I want to have different things going over the top of these. But like you can see, I think this piece is going to be very much about having fun. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to paint these in. Don't worry about chalk marks, they just wipe away. Up here, just swirls like that, trying to keep it
kind of quite loose. I'm going to do this whole base with the blue first. Once I've done the blue, I am toying with doing, well, it looks more blue on here, but it's actually more green in the can. I'm toying with just doing the whole table pink as well, because I'll work all my colours in around this lighter bluey green. So you don't need to see me do every one of these shapes. I mean, I'll do one more circle just because, you know, but I think you get the gist of what I'm trying to do here. I'm just very, very loosely painting in the shapes like this. That's all I'm doing. Once I've done this, we'll come back and I'll probably do quite a few sides, and then I'll home in on the details of this. By then, the tabletop should possibly be dry, and I'll start sketching out a sort of rough idea of what I'd like for the top. Okay, so I put my turquoise, my light green, which looks more of a sort of light blue, on this, and now I'm going to show you how I filled it all in. So really, there's no hard fast rules. You want a really loose painting style. You want to try and, if you are trying to be inspired by a specific artist or art style, the thing is you really need to study what makes it instantly recognizable. So I'm doing this sort of abstract circles because that is one that very much kind of was used in Charleston House. So let's do something like this. I just done that little bit there, but again the camera wasn't working, so I'll get back and tidy all these parts up. Next, I've got some green. I'm working with loads of different brushes because sometimes I think laying your brushes out on a piece of on a cloth, because then you're using them as you go, instead of cleaning each one. So this is just a sweeping motion. Do you know, it was perfect before, but as soon as you put a camera near me, it just all goes wrong. Right, sweepy around there. And then what I did was, I just did another swoosh. It's just so it shows a little bit of the pink, because I go on to put cream on top of my pink. There's a whole lot of kind of tables that the Bloomsbury sort of style is sort of almost sponged. So I thought I could sponge it, but then I thought what I'll do is I will do it just really kind of crude brush strokes, quite wet. So all I was doing was bringing this down. Now, you should really wait till your last part's dry, but this is how I'm trying to get my sort of brush strokes into the table. Now, this has already been a wee bit of a labour of love, this, and I haven't even got to the top, but I think it's worth it if you want a really sort of create look. Now, what I will do when I get to the top, because I thought there's no point putting the tabletop on until I've done all this underneath, it saves me crawling under the table. But what I will do when we get to the top is I'll put a camera up, because that way you can see it all happening as it actually happens. So that's like that. And then I need to do I'll do my green swoops and the white on this one as well. Now, the leaf shape. What I did was I got a liner. Try and find one. And first of all, went over the leaf in green. Remember, nice, sweepy, painty, brushy strokes. Quite loose. Don't take yourself too seriously, I don't think, for this look. It's, you know, it's fun. Round here, and I go over this with white liner, and you can see I left the pink paint underneath. Let's just neaten this up. Don't you know, get confused with loose strokes and messy. We do want it to be reasonably tidy as well. So Right, tidy that up. I know I've got these bits here to touch up. So this part up here is the, oh, I'm going to have to touch that bit up now, is orange. And this here is orange. And this was the bit I started filming on the opposite side. I've put a blue green, which is Amsterdam green and Frida blue together to get this grey blue up here. And this is orange up here. Another kind of thing that you'll see on their borders and quite a lot of their sort of geometrics as a border is a lot of crosses. They're quite popular, so if you can get some of those in sort of leaf shapes, a lot of flourishes, half circles, circles within circles, circles on their own, circles with pattern in the middle, flowers, big flowers, vases of flowers. And I think I've already made up my mind when I get to the tabletop, I'm going to do four vases of flower. Now I have to be careful because the table's got the extender. So we don't want to be opening up the table and have half a vase of flowers. So I might have to really kind of think about that before I start. So the blue up here, and on the blue, when you want to have good brush strokes, you can go back over what you've already done. So this is the blue, but I'm going to dip into the original blue that I had. And I just have this one here to finish off because it was only half the leaf. So again, a stem, a dot, a boop, a wee bit, and there and down, and then just paint these in. They're just maybe still a little bit wet for this, but it's just so you can see. And these will be lined with white. What else is to happen? Down the bottom here, I got a nice big brush. I think this one, it was here. And in this here, we're doing a sort of flourish. And again, this has a liner that goes around it. Oh no, just stick the paintbrush in the green. I've been doing that an awful lot recently. If you make a mistake, just use your paintbrush as an eraser, put water on it, get rid of what you've got, and put your original colour back over it and just let it dry for a minute. But I think you're kind of getting what I'm showing you. I'm going to flip it to a side that's done so that you can see, and I can just talk you through what I've just done. So this is how it looks once it's been done. This needs its white liner on up around the edges. And on these parts here, I just put watered down turquoise paint. It was the turquoise that was left over from the bottle Christmas video that I poured the paint in the bottle. I want to kind of use it up. I don't have that much left to use now, but I just thought I would go over the top of it so that I could get some really nice sort of brush strokes into it. So I've got a white here. It's actually an off-white. It's Old Ochre. And let's just take that line there. And let's just line this down here. And I felt earlier that I quite enjoyed it, that it wasn't particularly straight. Because if you look at the actual sort of inspo, it was very much just any surface in the house that was decorated. And there's some amazing art, but some of just the shapes and the geometrics, and they painted everything, literally everything. So, and this white line goes around here, along there. I've put a little bit of white liner here, just to kind of highlight that. What else have I done? These are the shapes that I was telling you about that I've still got to do on the other side. They've got to be done on the other side. I want to kind of just tidy up this line here. There will be way more white liner on this the next time you see it, because I'm going to go around nearly every shape with the white liner, but at least you see what I've done. Here's just the turquoise with a peachy sort of colour, just all the colours from my palette. And all I've done is I've mixed them round. This side here is exactly the same. It just hasn't had this shape here put on here. So let me just do it, and then I'll get off and I'll do the rest. So all I did was like this sort of kind of chain. I was imagining sort of lots of leaves just kind of linking up like that. If you're not comfortable using the liner, you could probably do quite a lot of this with acrylic paint pens, Poscas. I quite like the liner because I think it does make it look a bit looser. Right, I mean, it's still looking pretty crude around the edges, and there's things here that I can see that I want to fix and I want to put a little bit more brush strokes into. But I'm going to get on and I'm going to kind of refine it a little bit more, put a lot more liner onto it. Can you see all my depth? So I've got kind of put some red in there on top of the pink. I've got the pink sitting underneath it. It's got movement now and it's starting to look very much like where I want it to go. Okay.
Okay, I've finished the base. I didn't labour too much on the base because obviously the top will be easier to film, but this is how it looks. So it's done in the complete sort of style that I was looking for. And I've just done the whole thing, every side the same. I probably, because I was just saying to Matt, the temperatures in Scotland do have risen, so, and I'm going to be out here all day, which means the temperature is going to be probably the same temperature because I've got some heating on. I'm probably going to seal this. I'm going to seal it with French Chic Sealer, and then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to get Martin to fit the top on at its extended. I'm going to paint it complete pink. Then we'll come back and I'll show you me drawing out the design, and then I think we'll stick some cameras up because then that way you can get to see everything and you can see what I'm doing, and I'll run you through colours. I'll maybe do half the table and we'll come back, we'll discuss it, and then we'll do the same with the other half. Okay? All right. This has had its canvas coat, so one coat, because to be honest with you, most of the paint's covered up, but we need a base coat on our furniture, well, for many reasons. A, it's better for the furniture, but B, it will help whatever we put on top of it stick. Now, we discussed the sort of the looseness, the bohemianness, the flourishes, the paint strokes, and we've discussed all that. So now what I'm going to do is, bearing in mind the majority of the time the centerpiece will not be on show, so it will be folded away, right? So we need to make this edge and that edge over there have something very similar. So I'm just going to do something like this along these edges here, so when they go together they'll be reasonably the same. Now this will probably give Martin the eye twitch, but you know, he's already asked me how I intend to do this, but so you're going to do something like that. But I want this part, when it's put together, it doesn't matter if they're not the same, just, it's okay. And this part, sorry, my chalk is very squeaky. Now, I don't know when you'll see this, but I'm just telling you, I'm painting this in the twilight zone. You know, the time in between Christmas and New Year where you don't really know where anything is or what you're doing or where you're going. And this is my relaxation after a very busy Christmas. Right, so I've done this, this and this. I'll get to doing something on this. I think maybe. And what I want is I want a kind of... Now, you're going to take your time when you're drawing something like this out. I want a sort of rough. There's the flowers here, very painterly. Some greenery and some flowers. Something like this. A bit of this here. But then I want to do that sort of leafy shape that we did down below. So big, medium. Yeah, that bit. So it's kind of like leaf, wrap, all the way around here like this. And because it's so loose and fun, you don't have to, you know, this hasn't got to be your life's work here. So we've done that. There's a lot of cross hatching and crosses and things like that. And the details will develop as we go. I think maybe I might do something like some big circles. I'll try and get them a bit more equal as I do them. Something like this along here. Now, I know it's not perfect, but I will kind of do it. And on this side here, obviously, I'm going to be doing Let me just kind of work out my spaces. I think I'm about here. Now I'm doing this upside down just for the sake of showing you a bit. And then we've got our vase, and we'll have our greenery coming up the opposite way here with our flowers and our looseness. And then we'll do the 1, 2, 3 in, 1, 2, 3 in, 1, 2, 3 in, 1, 2, 3 around here for our leaves. This will develop into quite a complicated sort of design, but the thing about it is you have to start somewhere. And because I want it to look really loose, you're not looking for everything to be entirely straight. You're looking for it to be something that you like. Now, once these flowers are coming up here, I'll do something here. I mean, I think you can just have fun with these kinds of things. I need to do that round there. And pretty much you'll see it now in real time as I set about painting it. I put painter's tape down in these strips here because I have base coated in down here. That's the thing you have to remember when you're doing something like this. These edges, this edge will need another second coat of paint, but I want this to be completely dry. And before you fold this away and you've finished your table, you need to make sure that these edges all meet together. There's no build up around these edges here. It has to, when it folds, this edge folds back together for this edge. This all has to work as a design. But then when you open it up, it has to all work together. So that's how you kind of gonna work out how you're gonna do it. So I'm gonna get Mark to put cameras up, and hopefully you see that this is just, I don't think you have to be particularly, like, I think that what you should be doing is having fun with this, sketching it out loosely, and then just setting about putting your paint down and see where it takes you. It might not end up in a sort of kind of style of a Charleston House. It might not be a Bloomsbury sort of thing. You might develop something different as you go along, and that's fine. If that was your initial inspiration, then that's good. That's all good. I'm just kind of running with the sort of basic kind of shapes and the things that I think I would like. I might put something on my vase as well, some sort of pattern, but we'll get to that as we go, and it'll just grow and develop, and it'll become one riot of colour and pattern and fun. But first of all, we need to base coat all of this, and it's going to take me a while. And this is why I decided to do it between Christmas and New Year, because I said I wasn't going to work, but I said to Martin, I just want to go and do something I want to do. And so when the cameras are up, pretty much, I'm a free agent. I can just listen to my audiobook, drink as much tea, eat some toast, paint away. And this is my therapy. And I think it's good after you've had a whole load of people, bedding, washing, cooking. Just even being with people can be exhausting. They can be your loved ones, but for me, sometimes I just need to then go away and be me. And this is what I'm doing today. And Martin's being him. So we're separate today, aren't we? Aren't we, babe?
Yep.
And it's nice to just do that, because I think Marty and I have done an awful lot of entertaining, and I think now we're all entertained out, aren't we? We're not entertaining today, Martin. We're not entertaining today.
Entertaining anybody today.
We're not entertaining anybody today. And so
I think I'm doing my thing, and we were quite happy.
yeah, and for those that want and are interested, Martin did get his drone for Christmas. He is very excited, and we are going to take it out maybe to our local castle and have fly it up around one of the local castles and see if we can get some.
Start with the cathedral instead.
The Abbey.
The Abbey.
Yeah. Why not? So it's all brilliant. We've had a beautiful time. We've had a lovely Christmas. Christmas with a large family is one of those things you always have one or two that are, they're your family. It's not like you can send them back. You just have to kind of learn your coping strategies. And after I've done all this and I've been Mrs. Sociable, I now like to just go back to doing things I like. So there's a top tip. And maybe you're on your own for Christmas, and you're just looking for a good project that's going to keep you, interested and buoyed up over the new year. And this is the kind of project that is good because there's a lot of in it and a lot of hand painting. Okay, I'll go just now. Martin will put the camera up. So hopefully you're catching everything that I'm doing on the camera. Basically with this kind of look is you put your sort of basic background on. So if you look in the middle there, that's the basic background before I build the design on top of it. I'm liking it so far. This panel here is nearly finished. It needs a little bit of tidying up round about here, I would imagine, and maybe some here. But apart from that, this, you saw me on camera, I just got some orange on a brush and I just stippled this effect on. You see quite a lot of like sponging and things on this kind of like look. A lot of twirly lines, half circles, full circles, flowers, vases. Just do a little bit of research before you start and you get a kind of idea for what it is you're kind of, and then just set about. What I tend to do to break this sort of look down is I tend to do my shapes first. So you saw me draw out a lot of the shapes. So I painted all the shapes in first and then I go and I put other detail on it, maybe with colour. And then what I do is I put a liner on it, and that's how I tend to work these kind of designs. So I'm going to be moving on next, and the cameras are still up to do the middle part. And then, shall we still keep the cameras up, Martin, for the end part?
What do you mean by the end part?
The other end, the other side.
It's up to you, darling. I'm happy to leave them up.
I'll put them up for the end, and then you've seen it on both. You'll see a different perspective on that end because the flowers vase is going the other way, so something a little bit different. It's always tricky to film things like this because I'm not going to have Martin sit out here all day hovering over with a camera, and you would miss certain parts, whereas fast forwarding it with the cameras, the overheads and stuff, you can see it kind of happening as it evolves. So,
And you get to listen to your audiobooks.
and we get to have our chill out day, which has been lovely. I don't know if Martin will cut it out, but there was a point in time where I ate a packet of crisps. Yeah. So no, this is lovely. I'm just going to crack on and do. I mean, it's much later in the day now. In fact, it's dark outside, but I'm going to try and get this done today if I can. We'll see how we go. Okay. Okay, so you've seen me do a lot of the work of the table from the cameras, but now I just want to lock down everything you should really be doing when you're wanting to do a hand painted piece. So once you've done your sort of base coats, chalk. Chalk is a really good thing. I quite often draw mine out with pencil, but if you want a design that you can rub away and wipe it with a cloth, and you don't need to worry about chalk lines as well, because when you go to seal it, they just all disappear. So chalk is something that you need to make sure that it's kind of there and thereabouts. We're not going for perfection, but you want it to look recognizable. You can't have one big part out here that isn't the same size as everything else. And how do you do some of those things? Well, I tend to use the same sort of brushes. So if I'm looking for, I mean, this isn't a beautiful brush by any manner of means, but if I'm looking for a nice straight flat line that's going to be the same uniform all the way around, I'll use the same brush. That way I'm guaranteed that these strokes are all going to be the same. Yeah. So use the tools that you have. Your paint, for big work, you don't have to water it down so much. But if you've got a mist spray at hand, make sure that your paint is a little bit looser, especially if you're using chalk paint, because chalk paint is so thick. So if you add water, your paint's going to be looser. So the right brush for the right job is hugely important. So you need to go through your brushes before you start your project. Once you've drawn it out, you'll kind of get an idea. You can go, right, I'll use this one for this and this one for this. And I can paint a whole table with about 3 brushes, really, because what I'm doing is I'm using the same brushes over and over again. Script brushes, long, thin script brushes are kind of difficult to get with in the beginning, but for any sort of flourishes and twirls, they're amazing. And once you get that locked down, script brushes are good. If you're not so confident with script brushes, you can use a smaller round head brush, not a flat-headed brush. You're not going to be able to achieve the look with a flat head. So brushes are really important. So now I've interrupted to say all this, I also want to quickly say, because I've been meaning to do this for about 2 weeks, we've now actually, to be honest, I'm going off on a tangent. We've decided, you know, we've now actually spanned Christmas. We're into the new year.
Yeah,
I mean,
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. This started way before Christmas, but here we are. We have actually taken quite a bit of holiday, and we're still not back. We don't actually go back till Monday.
Yeah,
back
we're easing back into it.
Yeah, we're actually been on holiday for first. We've been not answering comments. We've really taken some time to just have some time up with our family, and it's been lovely. So anyway, Happy New Year. I hope that you have a healthy, happy New Year full of creative projects. So I got sent this in the post by a lovely lady called Susan Blackburn, all the way from New Zealand. I was just trying to read where she is. She's in Torbay, Auckland is where she is, and she had bought this for, I think, for fondant, because she's obviously a baker. She didn't send me a cake. Susan, you disappoint me. Come on, there should have been a cake with this. Anyway, the lovely Susan sent me this, and I just wanted to say how grateful I was, because this is fabulous. It's right up my street, and I'm sure I'll be using this with some Das clay in the very near future on some furniture. So that was a wee thank you about that. And thank you to everybody who sent me Christmas cards, who have sent me gifts over the Christmas period.
Slightly overwhelming.
It is very overwhelming, but I don't want you to think for 1 minute that I'm not grateful. It just very kind of you all. Right, okay, so, but anyway, let's actually get on to what we're actually doing here. So I'll move the brushes. And that's the paint. It's okay. I'm not going to look down, because I'm sure there'll be blue paint. Oh no, it's fine. We've survived. Right. Okay. So move the lovely Susan's mold. Right. Okay. So you saw everything happening from the above camera on this panel here. This above panel will fold away. So you're not actually going to see this panel unless the panel is extended. So you really need to worry about this side and this side looking the same the majority of the time. When you open it out, you can have whatever you want in the middle, as long as it's a sort of conscious effort to make it in the sort of, you know, Charleston sort of Bloomsbury group sort of style. That's what we're trying to deal with here. Now, we've talked about loose strokes, we've talked about plenty of movement in your piece, and that's how you'll nail it. Color choices. My colors are a little bit brighter and a little bit more in your face than this sort of Charleston, and I'll find one of my books before we finish the video, just to kind of show you again some of the styles. But I would Google it or go onto Pinterest and get a kind of rough idea of what you're going to do. And you really can be very loose and very easy. And you saw me draw this out. It hasn't been difficult. It's just shape painting. And if you can paint shapes, then you can really do it. It's not that complicated. So what I'm doing now is when you've got something with two halves, sometimes you can get a little bit mixed up and confused. Well, I can, you probably don't, but I get confused with where I've been before, because I want to know that this side matches this side. And sometimes I just go away and do little bits on the other side, and then I get to here and it doesn't match. So you have to be quite methodical. If you're stuck in any way, just write yourself a little list. Don't home in it, Martin. My writing is not an attractive prospect. Anyway, I've written myself a little list just so that I know what I'm doing, because that's the way to do it. If you've got a memory like me and you want to keep it right, go write this, 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 and this. So you saw me do this panel. So while I'm doing here is I'm just kind of doing the sort of finishy uppy parts so that it all kind of works together. So I can see, for example, let me just move this here. Can I say a good palette and mix mat as well? Nice bit of thick cardboard. You don't have to spend money on a mix mat, but a good palette is a handy thing. And if you're doing it over, I mean, this has been going on now for, I think, about 3 or 4 weeks. It's been hanging around for a while, and it has taken quite a long time to paint, even with a break. So if you're doing something like that, what to do is get your cardboard palette and stick it in a plastic bag overnight, spray it with water, stick it in a plastic bag, fold it over so that your palette's reasonably soft and your paint doesn't get hard overnight. And then if you live in a warm climate, double bag it, but really spray it well, or just get zip bags and put your brushes, put everything in that, and then you can come back to it. Obviously, I don't have that problem in Scotland because it's always cold. Anyway, so I can see from the other side that I'm doing this twirly line, because what I'm actually going to be doing now is doing all the things that make this pattern recognizably the style that I'm trying to emulate. And that's the thing. If you can do a few things like that, it will show. I've outlined all of this in the cream. I've got these parts here, and in this section here, it's just a matter of you getting your liner. Just going to have to clean that because it just rolled into the yellow while I was talking here. Right, okay, so I'm in the blue, and I've already kind of made my paint ready to use. It's ready to go. And Martin, you're going to have to come around here. I'm really sorry. So I've already done these parts with the liner, and remember, nice loose strokes. You're just kind of going boom, tidy that one up. There. Oh, Martin's having to do a lent in it. Martin's having to do dancing to get round it. So, I just lent in that with my jumper. That's just the fun of it all. You can look back and go, oh, Martin, you're sneezing. Oh, did you see? What are you up to, Martin? Oh, I got a fright there. Right, okay. Oh. Anyway, so that's going to be the centre. And then what I did was I got some pink here on my brush, and I just did a sort of spot. If you're having to mix quite a large quantity, I would suggest you mix one of the quantities that you're going to be using quite a few times. I would mix it in a little pot like I've done, because then you can easily cover those, with the little IKEA plastic covers that I've spoken about before, and then that paint's good to go. So the spots go on
I'll
here.
see if I can put a link in the description to those things.
What? Oh. Martin's not having a good day. He's had all this time off over holiday, and he's forgot that he has to tiptoe around the tulips. He's just tripping. He's just doing his thing. You're living your best life, Martin.
That's it.
Right. Okay. So these kind of
Just
things.
didn't notice you put all those paintbrushes there.
And, well, it was a trap. I thought, will he be able to get past those or not? Probably not. Let's see.
I'm not looking at my feet, you see.
No, you're not. Right. So things like this. Can you see if you home in on the other side, and you see all these sort of details here? We've got this line, this line, this line, this line, this line, and this line. And that's all you do on the other side. You just repeat it again. So I'm going to be looking for a sort of dark green. And if I just take some, I haven't brought my green over, but if I just take some of this turquoise and add it to this blue, we'll get a nice green that we're looking for. My paint's quite thick because it's quite cold here in Scotland.
It is Billy Baltic.
It is very cold, yeah. So, now, with a skip brush, as I said, it takes practice. But you know what? I'm all about getting the job done. And if you find it in any way, shape or form difficult, to use a script brush, just get some acrylic paint pens. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think that's cheating. I think it's just using what you've got to be able to achieve the look. You know, nobody's going to come along and go, oh, she shouldn't use a brush there. She used a marker. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, right? So who cares? I mean, life is way too short for that nonsense. Right, so I'm just going twirly, 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 twirly. And this is very, very common in sort of the style of what I'm trying to do. Like that. Just twirl these around, and it can be, oh, sorry. It's always the same, you know, things are swimming, and then you put a camera on me and it just goes from one disaster to the next. But all the way around with this, and it's just a matter of following them from the other side, because then at the other side, what I do after that is I go like this next, like that, and join that up there. Then I've got my pink lines which join onto here, so I'm back to the pink again, and it's going to go, now my paint really should be dry, but this is the wet one. I'm taking it onto here, and I'm doing a pink line along here like this. Just remember, whatever you've done on the other side, you need to do it on this side. And I think you're kind of getting where I'm at. I need to put, I can see that there's a large blue circle around these red spots. So let's get to our blue here. Let's do this one here. To me, they looked a little bit like targets once I'd done them, but I thought I'll keep them like that. And we do a blue circle around here like that. That's it. I mean, I'm not showing you anything you haven't seen me do on the big cameras. It's just I'm slowing it down a little bit. The cream, all this cream line is all done in liner. Things like the centre piece here and here, you saw me do that cross hatching stroke with that, and I just used acrylic paint pen for that, because why wouldn't I? Doing things like that also can emulate the look of a sort of Charleston look. So really that's all we're going to do. So what I'm going to go do now is because I know there's been an awful lot of footage being filmed, but I think that you've probably got it. I don't want to keep talking. I want to get this done. So I'm going to finish up the little parts that I've got to do on this side, and then we'll do our finishing video, and we'll kind of show you it together as the smaller table, and we'll have it put together as well for the open. Now, as I've been saying for the last number of videos, I will not be sealing this today because of the temperatures in Scotland. This will be getting packed, sealed away the way it is, and we'll know there'll be a sticker on it saying this needs sealed, just in case we can't remember. And in the meantime, when it sells, things just go into the home, because you have to keep the ambient temperature for at least 24 hours to make sure that your paint, your top coat or wax will both go off, and you'll know that your wax is almost like, you know, when chocolate blooms and it goes white, your wax will do the same. It'll suddenly just be, that isn't white waxed. That is, your wax isn't cured correctly, and you don't want that, because then your furniture underneath isn't protected right. So just remember all these little things. Anywho, I'm going to go and get this done, and we'll finally, the longest piece of furniture known to man, get this finished, staged up, and that'll be us finished for today. Okay, I'm back again because I forgot to tell you because you won't have been able to capture it on the sides. Like I did the red round here, but these sides here, I used my orange brush that I was showing you before that does exactly the same sort of size. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to come in with a better brush than that one. Just grab one of these. Because what I've done is I've done that sort of kind of, what are we calling it? A kind of basic-y kind of leaf shape. Hang on, when I get a brush I should have been more prepared, but I wasn't. Right, okay, so I've got my pink. It's just the old ochre and Emperor silk that's making this pink. I'm not using a capri pink. So in the grey green that we mixed up in the beginning, just need a bit more water on this. I'm just doing this all the way around. This is slightly redder. I think I need a little bit more white, but you understand I'm doing a basic. Oh no, it's too white. Gosh, isn't that the way? Right, so I'm doing this shape all the way around, and where I have done it, so I've got it here, I've just got my little liner in the blue, And all I've done is liner, liner, line, liner, liner. Let's wet my paint a bit more. Liner, liner, little line. And that's all I've done all the way along. So that's the sides. I have this edge here to fix because I need to put the red in here and make this look tidy. I think as well with these looks, you're continually always leaning over it.
Green stripe as well.
And there's a green, Martin's just pointing out. Good. Do you know what, Martin? There's the reason why I have you around. You're very useful. Right, okay, so yeah, Martin is quite correct. In my orange stripe, I've went down with a liner. Doesn't have to be perfect, just gone all the way down like this. I can see there I've got a bit to touch up and there's a bit to touch up, but you can do all your touches up at your leisure. I need to kind of get this to the point where I can at least finish it. So that's what I did on the sides in case you go at the end. I never saw her do those. So that's what I did there. And that's just, again, straight out of the sort of, straight out the playbook of the sort of Charleston style. It's just a shape, you know, pick a shape, a semicircle, a square, a half circle. This sort of kind of leafy shape is an awful lot of their designs. Just picking those things out enough to make it recognisable. It's the same with any genre that you're painting. It's Alice in Wonderland. Remember, Alice in Wonderland's quite dark. You need your black and white checks. You need your clocks. You need all the things that make that work. If it's clowns, you need your circus signs. You know, your elements have to be in your furniture because that's when people will go, oh, I really like that. So, you know, that's how you're going to try and make it happen. I mean, you might not like this. You might go, oh, that's a bit much, but I'm loving it so far. And this is a really good project to do if you're just feeling a little bit down in the dumps, because these tables go free on Facebook Marketplace all of the time. And if you're looking for something just to dig in, a bit of escapism, just to quiet your brain, just to get out of the situation that you're in for a little while, these type of painting projects are awesome for doing it. I started this and I was really into it. I went, but now I'm a bit like, it's been going on too long now. I just want to get it finished up, but it is really therapeutic. So you really will see the staged up in a minute. I'm going for it now. Right, bye-bye. Okay, so we've done. We're done now. I'm so over it. But it's this sort of kind of look. It takes quite a while, but it isn't a complicated thing. So as I said before, you just, you know, if you're looking for some time out and you're looking to kind of chill yourself, this is the kind of look that is really good. What did we do? Painted, base coated the furniture first, drew it out with chalk, and then just really set about painting my shapes. Then there's a whole load of liners, and then there's all the little details that make it recognisable. Cross hatching, some spots, some semicircles, half circles, anything like that. And then I just finished it off with a couple of vases of flowers. That's it. That's all that happened. The base has been done as well, and the top. And when I get Martin to do the walk around and everything in the video at end, we'll put it, because this is it currently at its extended thing. You know, it's big, and then we're going to make it wee. Okay, so I've been Lyle from Mabel Marley. Martin, the lovely Martin, what do you have to add to any of this?
I don't have anything to add. I absolutely love it. And Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Have an amazing 2025. And I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas period, festive period with your friends and family.
Yes. And we're looking forward to some really funky projects in the new year, I think. Right? Okay, so we'll see you next Sunday. If you've liked this video, give us a like, give us a share, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.